You like returning a text or something?
No, doing a serious email.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Still, sorry, conducting business. Sorry, I was still conducting business.
Oh, I'm very sorry that we interloped into that.
Sometimes you just can't put stuff off. You have to do it as soon as you get it.
No, I mean I agree. So how's everything going this morning?
Good, Jenny White. How about you?
Other than being still a little tired catching up from all of the in and out of the state business. I'm trying to catch up on that sleep, boy. Man, it's amazing how different beds are. So you like stay at this hotel and it's one bed, and then you stay at this hotel and it's another bed, and it's can't we just have like uniform beds? And then at least I'm not I'm sleeping on one, I get used to that, and then I go, so yeah, that I think that's the only thing that's kind of slowed me down at all would be that.
Wow.
Um so I noticed that there is already in the mainstream media a school that has come forward and said, we can't pay for student lunches unless you're going to give us more money.
Who is that? I haven't seen that.
Okay, that is, I was going to say Uluwatologa, but it's not. It's one of those schools where they combine. It's in such a unpopulated area that they have to combine two schools together. But here's the thing that made me giggle. So this was the one that I saw was on, I think it was channel 25. And they did their 2.5 minute blurb or whatever about it. And it was so interesting to me because in one of the polls that they did on the video, there's this giant, they're the Trojans, and there's this giant bus with a wrapping, in their logo that says Trojans. And I'm like, I wonder how much it costs them to wrap us. I don't have any money for that. Do what?
I said, I wonder how many lunches you could buy with that.
Exactly. I mean, I don't think wrapping is cheap, is it?
No, wrapping's not cheap.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, if you don't have enough money, maybe we should start eliminating your sports programs until we'll just eliminate things until we decide what's really important. Yeah. And that
I wonder how much administrative overhead they have that you could eliminate.
Well, he didn't bother to talk about that, but the thing that did crack me up was the giant school bus in the back. Like, okay, guys, whatever you say, you don't have enough money. I get it. It's kind of like those people who drive, really expensive cars or something, and then they'll say something like, I can't afford to do X. I'm like, then maybe don't have a Porsche. I don't know. I guess I kind of don't relate in some ways to what people tend to focus on with their money. Come on, people.
Well, that's the hard part of living in this material world, Jenny. We love all our stuff.
Who are you, Madonna?
Huh?
Who are you, Madonna?
Yeah.
You remember the 80s. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's a problem. And I don't know what you do about it, but
yeah, I mean, what are we labeled as? We're consumers. I mean, that's what we do. We're not builders, manufacturers.
Oh, good point. Ew, I hadn't really thought about
creators. Well, I guess we create a lot of social media. I'll take that one back.
Yeah. Ooh, that's so good for us. We know one of the things that we've talked about a lot on this program is the lack of and I'm not going to say civic engagement. I'm going to say civic knowledge.
Yeah.
Of the population of our young people. And now, anybody, I mean, how many adults do you talk to? And you'll say, well, the governor said, who's our governor again? And you're like, you don't even know who the governor is? I mean, so we have a real lack of civic knowledge, and I think people will engage in certain things, but then I don't know that they know why they're doing it. And our guest for today, Stephanie Savage, we met each other doing homeschool some years ago in a classical conversations program. But she has done this program called TeenPact for a lot of years. And the thing, I wanted to pull this in because I had never been to their website, and I went to their website the other day, and their website it's a very nice website. And the thing that I liked the most about their website, hold on, let me get it in here. Okay, so changing lives to change the world. And it was interesting to me that under their About Us tab, it says, through dynamic experiences, TeenPact seeks to inspire youth in their relationship with Christ and train them to understand the political process, value their liberty, my word, liberty, not freedom, liberty, defend the Christian faith, and engage the culture around them. To me, I thought, I had, like I said, I'd never really looked into their website before. I just kind of had a general idea of what TeenPact did. But to me, that was amazing. I mean, because Christ came first. They didn't talk about politics first. They talked about Christ first. So I thought, this is really a great program that we need to get out to people, because I don't know that there are enough people who really are who know about this program.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, I had a text message from Jim Shaw this morning, I mean right before we went on, and basically he said, I'm so glad you're doing a program on TeenPact, because I've run up against some of the kids in the TeenPact program and they're outstanding people. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's so great. I mean, he's run into people. And so I want to bring Stephanie on so we can talk about this morning, because you're the Oklahoma coordinator, right? Your mic is muted.
There you go.
There you go. You're the Oklahoma coordinator for TeenPact. Is that how that works?
Yes, the state coordinator, and we have state coordinators in all 50 states in the United States. So, yes.
That is awesome. So, do you have regional directors too, or you're just it for everybody?
Well, my role for TeenPact is a volunteer position, as every state coordinator is in all 50 states. And then we do have the home office that we work with, and then our regional coordinators that are our support team. But when we run the program, it takes everyone to get involved to make it happen. Some states offer the camp side of the event, which is in the evening, and we'll talk about more about that as we talk about the program. And some have just the government class during the day. So it's definitely a lot of work. And TeenPact is not, it's a class that's offered at the state capitol in all 50 states. It's a 1-week class. Several states have more than 1 week. They may offer this 2 or 3 times. But once you go through the state class, you become what we call a TeenPact alum. And once you're a TeenPact alum, you can attend the national events. So there are also several national events that happen around the United States throughout the year that only the alum can participate in. And we'll talk about that also as we go. But this program's been around for over 30 years. And it's one of the most incredible life-changing programs I've seen for the youth ever, which is why I got involved. And we can keep talking about that too. But
well, no, I do want to know how you got involved, because I don't remember. I seem to remember that all those years ago, you were involved in TeenPact then. I mean, you've been involved with this for a long time, haven't you?
My kids are who got me involved, of course. So they got involved maybe about 10 years ago. And I really didn't know anything about it, just like a lot of parents don't. And my daughter got involved, and she went through the state class, which is just the local 1-week program at the state capitol and did the camp in the evening. And then she went through this program and she said, I'm going to apply to be a leader. And I thought, what does that mean? This program, I tell everyone that it's like a multifaceted diamond, and we'll get into that because there's so many aspects to the program. It's absolutely phenomenal. But when she said, I'm going to apply to be a leader, I was like, what in the world are you talking about? But she came back changed and different from the program, because it's biblically based, Christ-centered based, but then it's also a real government class. Students receive government credit, high school credit. So it is a true class, a week-long class. And then in the evening is where the discipleship happens at the camp. But what the most fascinating thing about this program is that blew my mind is adults aren't leading this program. High school students are leading the program. So the high school students that are leading the program, they went through their state class, they applied to be a leader, and then they went through the leadership program, part of the program, and they go to training in North Carolina, and then they come back to their state class to lead. So at the end of the week of each state class, for Oklahoma, our students get to graduate in the House chamber, and they get to debate the bills that they've been working on all week long on the House chamber, in the House chamber floor. But at the very end, the leaders who've been leading the class all week long stand in front of them to congratulate them. It's the graduation. But then those leaders reveal their ages. And they say, hi, I'm so-and-so from Florida, and I'm 18 years old. Hi, I'm so-and-so from New York, and I'm 16 years old. And the students are gasping because these young adults, young students have been leading them all week and discipling them in small groups in the evening at the camp and leading the class and acting like young adults. But they say, we're your age and you can do this too. Apply to be a leader with the TeenPact program. So your kids come back changed. And then if they decide to go through the leadership track, it's a whole nother track of this program. So when my daughter said, I'm going to apply to be a leader, I thought, what does that mean? I had no idea. And so she did, and she was accepted. So she went through training, and then she led the state class in Oklahoma. Once you've led 1 year, you can apply to be a travel staffer. So she applied a second year. And so the second year she traveled around the United States leading these TeenPact classes because she homeschooled. She was able to do that. And then your third year, you can apply to be an intern. And those are usually college students that they do it either their gap year or they take a semester off, and they travel and they lead the program around the United States. So there's a tier of leadership development happening with youth. But the main thing is those youth say to the youth, you don't have to wait to be an adult to be a leader. God's called you to do this now. So my daughter, as she progressed through the leadership track, it changed her life. I mean, today when she's in college, she's involved in leadership, she's involved in government, she's involved in her student council at her university because she went through the TeenPact program and sees herself as God's called me to be a voice wherever I go. So that part it made me think I need to get involved in this. So I went to our state coordinator, which was Rita Selden-Rust at the time. And I said, Rita, how can I help you? And I thought her position, which is mine now, was this paid job. And she doesn't even have kids in the program. Hers have graduated through and moved on. And I said, how can I help you? And she said, well, it's all volunteer based. And I said, you're investing in the youth, and this isn't a paid job. She said, no, but it's such an investment because you're watching these kids' lives get changed. So then I said, well, how can I help begin to serve you? So that's how I initially got involved. And I thought this is something every youth needs to go through. And then the government piece, just that alone, also an understanding how our government works and that we're called to be a part and how God views it as well. Is great. So that's how I got involved, basically, is watching it change my child's life. And I watch it change students' lives daily. So,
it's funny because as you were talking, you were saying, that the kids would say, the young people, would say, hey, I'm 16, or I'm Michael and I have, I think, frequently on this program brought up John Adams, who wasn't it John Adams, who was the ambassador to France, I believe, when he was 14 years old. And we don't realize we have treated our children so much like children for so much of their lives that they don't realize how to be an adult, and all of the things that they can do that are in their power to do if they'll use their brain to do it. So I just think this is an incredible program. I do have to ask you this question though, because I couldn't find anything that said it. This isn't for homeschoolers.
Well, it's not just for homeschoolers, and that's a great thing to talk about because it works best for homeschoolers because they have the margin and the availability to attend their state class. And depending on what state you're in, I mean, TeenPact is working the entire nation, so they've got to arrange everybody's state class, and they send vans for their leadership team. And then they travel, the traveling staff, those youth are traveling from state to state, whether it's by the TeenPact van or they're by flights. But, you know, I had a mom reach out to me and she said, I really want my student to go through this, but he is in a public school. Is he allowed to go through this? I said, absolutely. And she looked at the date for Oklahoma. It's at the end of March in 2026. And she said, well, that's not on his spring break. He probably can't attend. And I said, well, here's how this works. I said, it definitely leans towards homeschoolers because they have the ability. But I said, go to and he's in a public school in Midwest City. I said, you need to go to your principal and you need to tell them about the program. This is an educational program and is a government class with government credit. And I said, you need to go talk to your principal about this because a lot of principals at both private and public school, when they hear about this, they give you the week off to participate. And she said, no, there's no way this school will let my son do that. I said, why don't you go ask and tell him about it? And so she did. She just messaged me this week and said he okayed her son to miss a week of school to attend the 4-day TeenPact class. So I have another student. He has actually gone through the leadership program as well, and he is in a public school in Enid. And so if they apply to be a leader and they're accepted, the training is at the very beginning of January, so it usually doesn't affect the school. It's usually the week of their state class. So he has been a leader for 2 years, and his school lets him take that week off. So instead of attending, he's now leading, so he gets to lead. Will he be able to be a traveling staffer and travel around the United States? Probably not, because he's not homeschooled, so he probably can't do that unless he applies to do that after he graduates as a gap year. He could do it that way. But we do have public school kids attend and private school. Once, as long as your principals will give you the permission to do that and they understand it's a government class, then that really helps.
Well, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to insert a little politics right here, if that's what you want to call it, and say, I want to encourage public school parents, because there are a lot of grandparents too who watch our program. Don't forget, you're the parent.
Exactly.
This is a school. The school doesn't rule you. You tell the school, I am going to be doing this and this and this. This is what my child is doing. The school doesn't have it's not a prison. It can feel like that, but it's not a prison. You tell the school what your child is doing. You are the parent. You are the person here.
Yeah, and I don't want students to be hindered, because I think if parents can shift their mindset to that, it's a program for any student to come to for a week. But yes, it's like they have to shift their mind, and they'll call and they'll say, oh, my kid can't do it. And I said, well, why won't you even move towards trying this? Because you really don't know until you have that conversation. So I like what you're saying, that you need to go to them and say, this is what we're doing. But when you present it as a government class, it helps with that conversation that it's an education program. My daughter, when she took her government class, her freshman year, she took her government class, and the professor pulled her aside and said, how do you know this information? He said, none of my students, they don't even teach this in the schools any longer. She aced his class because she said, I hardly had to study because I've been teaching this material for 3 years as a TeenPact leader. I understand. I can I've memorized the government textbook. And so, it's just sad because and TeenPact is a hands-on government class. So it's not just, here's a textbook. They get to write bills. It teaches them how to write a bill. It teaches them how to operate the parliamentary procedure of bill debates. They get to practice it. They have mock elections. They're in the Capitol interviewing lobbyists. Each year there's a specific topic that TeenPact has chosen for the students to debate and discuss. So then they have to do research on that topic before they attend their TeenPact class. Second year students, they go through the alumni track since they've already been through it once. So they have to do a little more research and write an essay as second year TeenPact students. So that they come a little more prepared. It is a 3-year program to get the full government credit. And so then they are able to debate about their topic. They've researched their topic. They've written an essay on the topic. And then they walk around the Capitol and they interview people at the state Capitol. They interview lobbyists. They get opinions from others about a topic, which adds and fuels their debate. So at the beginning of the week, you watch the debate. And by the end of the week, it is so exciting to watch how they have developed the debate based on the information they came with, and then the discovery being in the Capitol environment and having these conversations with others that they meet throughout the Capitol. So it's a lot.
I would ask them not to talk to lobbyists, but
we tell them to. We want them to go and interview everyone they meet to get all kinds of, and because these lobbyists will come to me. I'll run into them. I live downtown Oklahoma City, and they'll say, "Oh my goodness, we met TeenPact kids, and they challenged us." with their opinions because they've already resolved their end of things. So, and then we do have legislators come and speak, and people involved in leadership come and speak. Our Chief Justice spoke this year to the students, and it's really exciting because they share their story too, as well as how they got involved in politics. And it teaches these youth, even if you're not called to run for anything, you're still called to be involved. We all are called to be involved.
And you're called to understand. And it's like you just said, the professor said, I don't have kids come in who know any of this stuff because we just flat don't teach it. Or if we teach it, there's a program that's opposite yours called iCivics. And in the iCivics program, they're not really taught how government works. They're taught how to lobby. They're given progressive talking points and taught how to lobby. So it's an entirely different program from yours. And I did want to point this out. Lisa said, but the school can also make it really difficult for students and perhaps parents, perhaps even threatening to not allow graduation. Parents are trained to obey in that system. And I tend to agree with you, Lisa, because I have seen that, and it looks like you have too, Stephanie, when they say, well, I can't even ask. Yeah, right. So I think that's another thing that we've got to stress with public school parents is, you're in a mold that you don't need to be in, use a hammer and get out of there and make things work for your student, your child, your adoptive child. I mean, whatever it is, the child that you're responsible for, make their education work for them, whatever you have to do. And this is an excellent program to get them in. And if you have to tell the school and then fight them if they say they're not going to graduate your child, well, so be it. But don't forget, the focus isn't on what school says. The focus is on what's best for your student, your child, the person you're in charge of. So how do people even find out about TeenPact? I mean, I guess that's my question, because we were in school with you and we homeschooled, and I never heard TeenPact come up except for one time, and I don't remember where that was. So how do we find out about this?
The way I found out about it, when I, before COVID, and we had more homeschool conventions, and TeenPact always had a table at that. And it really just takes my job, which is why I say it's volunteer, because we need help spreading the word about TeenPact. I mean, the only thing I can do is post on, social media, Facebook, homeschool groups, go to homeschool conventions. I would love to personally come talk to any co-ops. I like to bring a student or two with me, because I'm going to have my own students share a little bit about TeenPact as well. Because when you hear from the student of what they love about TeenPact and how it's impacted their life, it's very impacting, because really it's a student-led program. So my role is just to make sure we've got the rooms at the Capitol. I have the speakers that we need set up. I've got the camps set up. I've got the transportation set up. We have the cooks set up. I mean, I don't do anything else except make sure everything's set up. And then these students come in from around the US to lead the program, and the state students that are leading, and they run the whole thing. And so as far as the marketing and the promotion, it really is through the homeschool community. I need parents to share more about TeenPact. I have literature that I can give to parents. I will come and talk to their co-op. It takes about 5 minutes, or, I share a brief thing. I have a student share the 3 things they love about TeenPact, and really that seals the deal. It doesn't take a lot of time to talk about it, but that's how I learned. Is I was at a classical conversations community, and the state coordinator came in and talked about it, and I thought, this is amazing. I want my kids to try this, but I really didn't understand the whole perspective until my daughter started moving through the program, and I started watching it change her behavior, and just her and her understanding of how the government works and wanting to be involved more.
Well, how did it change her behavior? I'm curious
That's
about
a good
that.
question. Her behavior when she went through the first class, she came back just talking more like an adult and having some more adult attributes per se. And then once you go through your state class, you're an alum and you can go to the national events. So her first national event was the National Convention, and it's held every May. It's about 1,000 kids from around the United States go to Lee University in Cleveland, Tennessee, and they get to stay on a college campus. They're treated like young adults. It's basically a leadership week-long conference. Speakers come in and discuss leadership, obviously Christ-centered leadership values all week long. But what is really fun is in the evenings is the vice president and presidential debates, the senatorial and representative debates. Kids are running for senator and representative and vice president and president, and they have, all of their boards and their campaigns happening. So it's in the evening, it's this competition and in a good way, and the kids are joining each other's campaigns. And then those students that make it through primaries get to speak on a stage in front of 1,000 students and share their God-given message about why God's called them to run for representative or run for senator. And then the climax of the week is the vice presidential and presidential debates on stage. And then students get to go vote, and not only vote locally at the event, but students from around the nation. It's called TeenPact Nation. They are voting as well at the end of the presidential debates. And then it's the climax of the week, and it's so exciting. And then the student that wins president and vice president, they get to give a message. And my kids always say, it's so much hype, it's so much fun, because there's worship before every speaker, there's speakers, and then there's the debates happening in the evening, and the elections happening in the evening. And they come back, and they're also at this university, and they have a track, like when you go to a convention, you're given a track, and you have to be, lunches at this time and the speakers at this time. And after every speaker, they're in their small group. That's kind of how they're held accountable. They meet with their small group and their small group leaders, which are the youth leaders. But they are moving around this college campus freely, but attending all their events. And they're being treated like young adults learning about leadership. And so they come back, they speak differently because they're practicing, all the debates and learning to talk that way. They come back acting like little young adults. It's really cute just because they're being treated like little young adults, and they're being invested into as leaders and being told they're leaders. And so it just changes how they view themselves as a young person. So the national events are amazing as well. And that's our national convention once a year. And It is a full week, and there are about 1,000 students that come to this from around the entire
Wow.
country. And it is.
Who was the Stephanie? Who was the founder? Where'd this originate at?
I want to say I need to look up his name.
Hold on a second. I'll pull it in.
His name. I don't want to botch his name because he is amazing. You can follow him on Instagram as well.
He has a really interesting. I looked him up.
Yes.
When I got. Hold on a second. Let me throw this in. All right, he is a really interesting guy.
Eccles, is that how you say it, Gabe? My son's correcting me. Tim Eccles. He actually spoke. You can probably look it up on YouTube. He was one of our speakers at the national convention, and reading about him is amazing because he started this, and obviously God blessed it, and it just took off.
Well, he has his story on here somewhere, and I can't seem to find out where it is now.
Yeah, you can even look him up. Meet Our Founder. If you look, it's under Meet Our Founder.
Okay.
TeenPact.com/meet. If you were to Google Meet Our Founder TeenPact, it will pull it up.
Okay. All right.
If you
well, like I said, go through this, go through their website because it's TeenPact.com. It's not like it's super hard to find. Go to TeenPact.com and, look this group up. I'm going to throw it in here anyway, so that people have it. But it has all that information on there, and there is a contact form on that website. So if we'll give Stephanie's contact information here in a minute. And if you aren't able to connect with her and you can't connect through her with us, then there's a contact form on that website. But also your email is admin@TeenPact?
Oklahoma. For Oklahoma at TeenPact.com.
Oklahoma at. Okay, I'm going to throw that up there too.
And I want to share a little bit more about what the program is about during the day.
Good.
And the age group, and then how the camp portion works as well, just so that it's for those who are listening, they understand kind of the week program a little bit more, because it's a lot to explain. That's why I always say it's like a multifaceted diamond. You've got the government class, you've got the program, and you have the leadership track as well, plus all these events that happen around the nation once the kids become alums as well. So the program is a 4-day program with a 5th day mass communications public speaking course on the 5th day if they choose to take that. But TeenPact it's ages 13 through 19. And there's also an option for a 1-day 8 through 12-year-old class as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'll talk about that separately, but that's on Friday, and parents must attend with their students. And that was designed for parents to get a peek into the 4-day class. And the youth leaders also lead that, and it is so much fun. So I'll talk about that on a side note here in just a second. But for the 12 through 19-year-old program, the program is at the state capitol. You can commute. We call them commuting students. If parents just want to drop them off for the class during the day and then pick them up at the state capitol, they can commute. But for our state, as well as many states, we offer the camp portion of the program, and it is a beautiful piece of the program also. I always say that the government class that is happening, our state class at the Capitol, they're behaving like young adults. They're debating bills. They're practicing mock elections. They're learning about the history of government. They also dress in TeenPact attire. So I wore my TeenPact attire to visit with you all so that you could see our students do dress in TeenPact attire. So there's a dress code so that they dress appropriately as to be at the state capitol. and then they're taught how to function in that capacity. But in the evening, we bus them to the camp. And right now we're using Jacob Ladder Retreat Center, and it's about 20 minutes away in Chandler, Oklahoma.
Okay.
With our bus and with traffic, it usually takes about 45 minutes to get them there. But what happens in the evening, it's really sweet. We do have a speaker in the evening. We eat. The kids, when they arrive, the kids are able to have quality time together. So at our camp site, they love to play basketball in the gym. They hang out for about an hour and just have community time together. And that's where they get to connect. We eat a meal together, and then our class director, which is every team for the state class has a class director, and that's the adult that's overseeing the leaders. And it's usually a dad in the program whose student has been through the program, and so they sign up to volunteer to be a class director. They have worship, they give a message in the evening, and then we have another time of fellowship, and then they get in their small groups to discuss the day, what they learned at the state class. They open up their Bibles together, they get into scripture together, they pray for each other. A lot of kids come to know Christ. This is the place where they've met Jesus, is at this time when they do their small groups. Because it's all pointed back. It's all biblically pointed back to the Bible. And then we have adults that are our chaperones, making sure lights are out. And we have them up at 6 a.m, breakfast, because they have to leave at 7:15 in their Capitol attire, bus to the Capitol for their state class, and then they return again to the camp. So it's a very well organized program. And
I want to do it.
What?
I want to do it. We need an adult one.
In the evening, what is really neat is the youth leaders are still leading the evening portion at the camp. They're playing with the students basketball. They're investing. And if your kids go through this leadership track, they're also not just being trained how to lead the state government class. They're also being trained how to invest on the ministry side of the program. So the ministry is happening in the evening, and your high school students that are in the leadership track are investing in these students and investing in time with them and leading small groups with them. And I tell parents, if you send your child to the camp portion of this program, our leadership team usually consists of about 12 students that are leaders. I don't even know what church camp has that many leaders involved in investing. And each state class is about 60. So you've got 60 students and 12 to 13 leaders investing in them in the evenings of this program. And so they connect, they bond, it's Christ-centered in the evening. And then during the day, because they're bonding in the evening, the classes, it's beneficial during the day for them, because now they're making connections, but they're acting like young adults at the state capitol and doing the TeenPact government class portion. And it's a lot of fun, but the evening is when the ministry side happens. So sometimes parents think that the camp is only there for maybe students that are out of town and don't live in the Oklahoma City area. No, it is part of the program, but doesn't mean you have to participate. A lot of parents we invite the parents to come in the evening and to participate as well, to be there, eat with the students, to worship with the students. So a lot of times parents that are commuting will bring their kids in the evening to see the campsite, and the next year they'll put them through the camp portion of the program. So it is optional, but it's not required. So that's important to note. As far as the 8 to 12-year-olds, that is it's called our one-day class. That is on Friday, and it is the cutest class. So parents have to be with their students. So the parent gets to go through the class with the student, and the youth leaders lead the class. And these little kids, they write their bill before they attend, and then they get to practice debating their bills as well. Now, when I learned about this, before I really put my daughter through the program, this terrified me. And the reason it terrified me is I remember thinking, I've never been taught how to do this. I don't know how I'm going to help my 8, 9, 10-year-old write a bill. I don't know that this is for me. This is not my thing. I'm not a government person. I don't know much about it, which I really think is how a lot of parents feel. And then I had one parent say to me, I don't know, it was Jennifer Courtney. I don't know if you know Jennifer Courtney on the Classical Conversations, but she said to me, Stephanie, you need to chill out a little bit. She said, this for 8, 9, 10-year-olds. We're talking a simple bill. For example, she said to me, why bubblegum ice cream should be required in every ice cream shop throughout the nation. And if if ice cream shops fail to follow this policy, the fine will be X amount of dollars. And so I said, oh, it could be, that bubblegum ice cream is required in every ice cream shop in the United States. She said, yes, I think kid level bills. And I thought, oh, I can do this. Okay. So I really think there's a hindrance for parents. I think I'm not involved in government, or I was never taught, or I don't know how I'm going to help my kid write a bill. They see that one of the requirements is the child comes prepared with a bill, but TeenPact gives you the form. It helps you fill it out. It's super simple, and it can be so simple for that child. And then they show up, and those staff leaders are teaching your 8 to 12-year-olds how to debate the bill and talk about the bill. And it gets really fun with these little kids, because one year when my son started going as a young person, a young gentleman, we're talking 9, 10 years old, these little cute kids, goes up, and his bill was about tree houses are only designed for boys, and girls should not be allowed in boy tree houses. Well, then my son raised his hand and he asked if he could debate the bill. So he goes up and he counters that, and he says, I believe that God has, created man and woman both in the image of God, and girls should be allowed in tree houses also. And so it was this cute debate, and it is so much fun to watch. And then, so I just want parents to realize this is fun. It's not, it's serious, but it's not serious. It's
Right.
a lot of fun. And you've got high school kids leading your 8 to 12-year-olds and all of this. They get to tour the Capitol. They do prayer walks. They learn how to use their Bible and how God sees God sees government and the Bible together. They do a little mock election. They get to run for senator and governor in a really fun, cute way. And it's just for one day. And you, the parent, you learn as well. So anyways, the 8 to 12-year-old one-day class is for kids to get a peek, and for parents to get a peek into what the 4-day class would be like for their 13-year-old and up.
Well, I just have to throw in a couple of comments because we've had some hysterical comments. So Robert says we need a boomer. I hate you, Robert.
Hey, that could be a little 1-hour session at your at your Liberty.
Oh, at the
Expo.
Liberty Conference, it absolutely should have. Lisa said one of my kids would have loved this. I wish there were local branches events, perhaps minus the overnight, since so many don't do them. TeenPact Light, but you don't have to. I guess that's a good point, because you just said they don't have to do the nighttime part. They can do the daytime part.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not even, and that's kind of the way it works anyway.
Yes.
And then Earl's daughter says she has saved it to her contacts, because the next camper workshop is in March. So she's going to talk to her husband about it tonight. And then she also did remind us that there was the Little Rascals He-Man woman hating club. That's right.
It's a lot of, and these kids get up and their bills they've written. I mean, my son, I like them to share briefly what they love about TeenPact, but my 16-year-old, you will have to ask him what his bill has been for the last 2 years, because it has been passed all the way to their graduation on the last day, when the bills that are passed, they get to debate on the House chamber floor. And it's just, they have a lot of fun. There's more serious bills, there's more lighthearted bills. The kids that have been through this several times, they like to have fun writing their bills, so they'll write silly bills that causes everybody to laugh. And it's just so much fun. So it's lovely.
Well, can you put one of your students on?
Sure.
And
who can come talk? Who's ready?
Who's ready?
People to be ready to come and share. Okay.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. My name's Sebastian. So nice to meet y'all. See.
Hi,
What are y'all
Sebastian.
names? What's y'all's names?
I'm Jenny.
Jenny, nice to meet you. What's your name?
Michael.
Michael. Okay. Well, yeah. So happy to be here. So what questions do you have for me?
So this is your attire.
Yeah. Just suit.
They do wear a tie, but I told them they didn't have to put on a tie for this
Look
morning.
good.
Yeah, just normal business attire. So yeah, that's what we wear to the Capitol. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
And you look very smart.
Yeah, thank you. I am, I think.
So tell me, oh, and then we've got a viewer who's even telling you hello as well. So tell me what caused you to want to ask your mom if you can do it?
Yeah, so part of it was just my siblings going through it, my older siblings, and they were coming back home, and just giving like so much positive feedback about it, how they loved it and stuff. So it just made me want to get involved. I got thrown into the 1-day class. I started in that. I did that for 4 years. So
Wow.
just loved it and then I've moved on to the week class for like the older students. I've done that for 4 years now as well. So I've done TeenPact for 8 years. So yeah, just throughout the years, I've just really loved it. Yeah. So yeah, mainly just I really got into it, and what made me want to do it was like the positive feedback from my siblings and stuff. So yeah.
Well, what's your favorite thing about it?
Oh boy.
Well, you can give me the top 5 or 10. I mean, whatever.
Okay.
I always tell students, tell us 3 things they love about TeenPact, and each student will say something different. But it's a great insight into the brain of a young person.
Yeah, so I'll give you my top 2 favorite things. One of them is our TeenPact legislature. So my mom was sharing about like writing bills and stuff. That's definitely one of my most favorite things. Just getting to learn how to write a bill. You think writing a bill is like super intense and like has to be super professional, but TeenPact doesn't make it like they teach you like it can be complex, but it can be simple as well. So just getting to learn how to write those and then present them. And then my favorite part about that is debating on everybody's bills. So everyone gets to share their bills at the beginning of the week. And then you get to debate. They hand select bills. You get to debate those with the whole class. So that's a lot of fun. And then
So now, do you debate? When you debate, do you use the principles that you're taught in class?
Yes, yeah, we do. It's called Gay. What are they called? But yeah, we have a term for it. Parliamentary
Probably
procedure.
an acronym.
Yeah, the parliamentary procedures is what they call it. So yeah, there's like if you want to ask someone like the person in the well, you have to ask them to yield to a question. The judge has to recognize you for you to be able to stand up. You have to ask the person in the well to yield the well if you want to speak on the bill. So yeah, they teach you all kinds like the procedures, and then you should go about that. So yeah, being able to use that too in the debate and have conversations and get to go over because it's the real procedures that they use on the House floor or the Senate floor.
Some of them do.
Yeah. So
sorry, I'm being cynical. Because honestly, I think you probably do know more about parliamentary procedure than quite a few of them do. So they teach you parliamentary procedure, and that's how you're, supposed to debate. What about principles? Like, because one of the favorite things on the TeenPact website is that they use the term liberty. Do they use liberty principles to kind of teach you what we should be, how we should be legislating?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, as in like, you restate the question, like you rephrase that.
So, well, I'll tell you a short story, and maybe this will help. So I was friends with a legislator many years ago, and she had a list of things. And anytime she was reading a bill, she had a list of things, a check mark of things. So I think there were 4 or 5 things. That her name was Sally Kern, and I'll have to go back and ask her, but she would judge each bill by those things. So for like number 1, does it cost taxpayers money? Right.
Oh, okay.
Number 2, does it prevent them? Does it does it stall their liberty at all? Does it keep them from doing something they would want to do? So she had this list of things. So I didn't know if that was one of the things that they taught you or not, or.
Yeah. No, there's not really any like specific guideline. It is, yeah, you can do anything. I've done all kinds of bills. I've done some funny, some more serious. For example, I've done like some bills on like raising the smoking age. Some funny ones are like the Oklahoma State vegetables, the watermelon, changing that to something else. So,
And it's the bill that always makes it.
yeah. So
It's the end.
I've done a good handful of bills, and I do multiple a year too. So yeah, there's no like guidelines that they want us to go by, and then there's not like any specific guidelines, like a checklist that they go by to pick out bills to debate. I think really it just goes off of like what will create good conversation for the whole class to actually debate. So yeah.
It's about the experience and the practicing of it. They will, there can be more realistic topics that come up, of course, and they get to talk about that. And my other son wants to share a little also. But in the beginning, the point is just to learn how to process the bills and debate the bills and discuss the bills and just even get these students talking when they've never had this experience. On Friday, there's a class, and it's a class you add on if you want to participate, and it's called the PCW Public Communications Workshop. My daughter said that really elevated her ability to speak, because it's an add-on class if they want to participate. It's a TeenPact favorite. It was originally created because we realized on Fridays, the 8 to 12-year-old class, we had nowhere to put the high schoolers that just went through the 4-day class. And we're like, oops, we need to make sure there's something for them to participate in while parents are at the Capitol with their 8 to 12-year-olds. And so they designed this piece we call the PCW class, Political Communications Workshop. But it is a TeenPact favorite. The students learn to debate. And my daughter, she explained it this way. She said, I was given, you don't have time to think about what you're going to say, and you stand up and you have 2 minutes to speak on one side of a topic and 2 minutes to speak on another side of a topic. And she said, I realized I had things to say, but I've never been able to practice this. And it gave her a confidence she had never had before. And so after that, when she went through the leadership tracks, that was her favorite class to teach and lead, because she loved watching other students step into it. It's a very safe environment of learning how to practice public speaking and looking at both sides of a topic. So,
well, and I want to throw this comment in because I think this is very good. I think the most important part about this is teaching young people to critically think. Debating ideas is extremely important. That's how we all learn what we truly stand for. So I would agree with that 100%. And I'll ask you as your last question here, Sebastian, because I know your brother wants to talk. Do you feel like this has given you confidence, maybe that you wouldn't have had otherwise, or?
Oh yeah, 100%. That's probably the other thing that I really like about TeenPact is my confidence in like public speaking, especially. Part of that comes from our TeenPact legislatures, like reading off bills and being able to like have your own opinion and speak that. But something else is we do like mock elections, so you can run for a senator position or a governor position. If you win that, you get to give like a speech at graduation on the House floor in front of all the parents and the whole class. So it is. I've won twice, so I've done it twice. So yeah, that's definitely given me a lot of confidence in just my presentation skills, public speaking skills, and then like when you're running, they'll ask you all these questions, and just a lot of speaking on the fly too for that. So that comes in handy. So I challenge myself every year to do that, and I've definitely grown in that for sure over the past 4 years of doing TeenPact.
What happened? I don't know. I hope they didn't lose their.
Yeah, she may have to.
Yeah, let me
get out.
her.
You may have to kick her out, Jenny, and let her come back in.
You think so? Okay, hold on. Let me text her. That's frustrating.
Well, that's awesome. And you think back to like older education, And that's probably how education was more geared back then, more debate, more critical thinking, more just regular personal engagement.
Okay.
I think that's
Whoops. Hold on. I can hear. Are you there? Whoop.
Yeah, my computer died. Sorry.
Oh
Okay, we're back.
no. Okay. Do you have your camera?
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. So where was I? So yeah, this is giving me a lot of confidence. And
we can't see you anymore.
yeah.
Oh, no,
You may have to just
log
kick
out
them and
and
have
back
them
in?
re.
You may have to. I'll kick
Let
you
me
out and
refresh.
then just click the
Oh,
link
there you
again.
go. Oh,
Okay. Oh,
right.
and I kicked you out. Oh, this is funny. Do they teach you how to deal with technical difficulties? Okay, there she is. There they are. Whoops. There they are. Okay. All right.
yeah. So anyways, final stuff. So yeah, this is giving me a lot of confidence in that. So that's definitely one of my favorite things about TeenPact is it really teaches you how to step out of your comfort zone. That's something that they're very big on. And for that, it might look like just stepping out in like your smaller breakout groups. For me, it's just public speaking. So yeah.
Well,
that is
Sebastian,
awesome.
do you question for me? Do you find yourself now, since you've had all this training, you have so much more confidence? You're obviously very smart young man. Do you find yourself, because of this, being a little more critical of like things that are going on in our society or just around you in general?
Yeah, definitely just like knowing stuff about government gives you a greater understanding, I think, of just how the government works and what's going on. Yeah, just being educated on that is so important, I think, and it's given me a greater knowledge of what's and I'm not like I don't pay too much attention right now just because I'm so busy with other things. But yeah, just but like if like something comes up and like something's going on in the legislative branch related, for example, I know what's going on because I've been educated on that. So yeah.
Yeah, good for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you,
Thanks for
Sebastian.
having
We
me. It was great
appreciate
talking to
you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Sebastian.
Uh-oh.
Gabriel. Around the cord. So this is Gabriel. He's done TeenPact as well for many years.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Gabriel. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Very, very good. How about you, Michael?
Good. I'm happy. I'm so excited, actually, Jenny, to see people like Stephanie that have volunteered and are producing, having people like your kids and all the other kids that are going through that program. I mean, it's so exciting just to see kids that actually can think, can talk, can debate, can ask questions, have confidence, because it's just seems like it's so everything's going in the opposite direction in today's time.
Yeah.
So we'll ask Gabe if you're okay. 3 things he loves about TeenPact as well, because it's just another student and another perspective. And I think it's just easy to hear a quick 3.
Now, Gabriel, how old are you?
I am currently 18 years old.
And how old was Sebastian?
He is 16.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, awesome. Well, to start, I think the community is just really great. State class is, as you are already kind of gotten the gist of how it works, is only a week long. And what's so interesting, what I found is really interesting, is that in 1 week, you can create some of the strongest relationships that you will still have. And that goes from state class to your daily lives. And even if you go to like one of the alumni events, which is even crazier because that's a relationship from someone who lives in Alaska or Tennessee, and you're such good friends with them that you're maintaining those relationships. So within 1 week, TeenPact unites a ton of people to the point of becoming a unit, I guess is a good way to say it. So the community is very special, and they've done a really good job in just keeping that a part of TeenPact. The second thing I really love about it is that they're very big in preparing youth in different ways. The youth, I feel like coming into TeenPact, they don't really have an idea of what TeenPact is. They are afraid of participating in just our daily lives outside of the home, outside of class. TeenPact has for one example, TeenPact has a no media policy throughout the week. Staffers are very, very strict on this. They do not let you get on your phone. No social media throughout the week. So it's like very intentional with those different types of things. And pros, there we go. And then I think one of the other things that I really like would definitely have to be the leadership opportunity that you get and how much valuable training that they give you as a student, but then the opportunity to be a staffer and staff with them and the training that you get through that. I got the opportunity to staff a couple years ago, and it has been a life-changing experience. I really loved it. And taking that, I'm now currently in college at OSU right now, and taking that into the classroom and all that, being able to ask critical questions, being able to speak and speak confidently, and know that like my opinion is an opinion, and because of that, it matters. TeenPact has taught me all those different things. Those are probably just 3 really good takeaways. I could sit here and talk about just all their alumni events and all of the small groups and worship and all the staffers and all that stuff. But those 3 things are good, a good base to start on.
So I want to ask you, you've been a student and now you've been a staffer. Do you actually have a preference? Did you like being a student better? Do you like being a staffer better?
Both of them have their perks. I would say to be a student is to come in and to learn and to not really have the cares of making a week run. I will say that. But as a staffer, you're getting the joy of making the program run. You're getting to plant the seeds and watch them grow throughout the week. You're getting to be involved in the behind the scenes of the state class, and you're getting to see what makes everything run. And you were trained to see how everything is run. And then when you're in state class, you're looking up to these students. Did you tell them about the age?
What do you mean?
Like the staffers don't tell their ages to the students. So these students are sitting over here thinking someone who's 16 years old, yes, there has been a 14-year-old staffer, sit up there thinking, oh, these guys have probably gone to college or they've been trained in this or this is what they do for a job. And then they get up there at the end of the week and they're like, my name is Gabriel Savage. I'm from Oklahoma City years old and I'm whatever age I am. And the people who are their age or older are like, hold on a second, you're my age or I'm older than you, but you were so amazing. How is this possible? And that is where same thing for me and for so many other students. That's what drives them to be like, I want to be in that position. That's how TeenPact kind of vets to them the want to be in that higher position. I want to say higher position. That's not really what it is. Instead, it's a student leadership and servanthood position, getting that opportunity to teach and to serve students throughout the week. And that's kind of what happens after that first week where everyone reveals their ages. You get to see the joy of everyone being like, I can be a leader. I can do this. I don't have it doesn't mean I have to stay where I am. It's that I can rise to the challenge. I think that's where TeenPact is really challenging students in our youth today, but where we can also see a lack of challenge into other people outside of the program.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I've got to ask one other question then. Did you come before you did TeenPact? Did you have an idea of what you wanted to be as a profession? And then did TeenPact change that at all?
That's a really good question. I came into the program before I was able to do the week class. So I was doing the one day student class, meaning I was under 13 years old. So I was pretty young. So it was all the same: football, race car driver. So it wasn't really like I had an idea of what I wanted to do. Has it changed because of TeenPact? No. Because kind of like what I'm looking at right now, kind of what the idea is for a profession would be to go through dental school and do an oromaxillofacial track. That's kind of what I'm looking at. Has TeenPact had any effect on that? No. But will TeenPact help me into getting into doors or speaking or being confident in my ability? Yes. Like right now, I'm in American government, and TeenPact Like that's just a prerequisite and a requirement for, your gen ed. But TeenPact is helping me to speak and to know I can have confidence in that. Same thing with just speaking and being professional. I mean, obviously we're dressed in professional clothing. We know when we say, hey, be professional, I know what professionalism is because TeenPact requires that as a student. And then as a staffer, they require it even more so. And that's what I can take on. I can know when it comes time for an interview, how can I dress? How can I conduct myself in a way that will do me good instead of tear me down?
So I've got another weird question for you, because there have been several comments, people watching who have made the comment about the way you young men have dressed. And this is just me personally. I don't like the way young people dress anymore. I mean, lots of sweats and hoodies, and there's a place for that. There's a place for that. Do you feel differently having been exposed to TeenPact and you're wearing a suit? And do you feel differently what you're wearing in a suit versus like a hoodie?
So
I'm just curious.
I'm going to take that as a two-part question. First off, the very first question about wearing hoodies and all that stuff, and just have I noticed a difference and a change?
Because you don't dress like this every day.
No.
Like he dresses like a kid too.
I dress in sweat. I dress in hoodies and all that stuff.
Yeah, you don't wear a suit to go to the grocery anymore.
No.
Yeah, no.
At one point in time, I do think that our society has lost a level of just general professionalism. When you go to the airport, this is something that we always all talk about. See, exactly. You knew exactly where I was going. When you go to the airport now, you see people dressed in hoodies and sweatpants, comfortable clothing. I mean, I get it. It's a long journey. You're flying somewhere. You want to be comfortable. I get it. But when you see someone who is dressed in a suit, who is getting off their flight and instantly going to into the business world or whatever, you're like, that's weird, and you're out of place. But back then, it was an honor and a privilege to be able to be in an airport. So you would dress for the occasion and you would dress nice. Everyone wore suits. And then not only that, but back then, everyone wouldn't even say wore suits, but they wore a level of professional clothing. Everyone did. Yes, I would think our era has lost a lot of that. And that's where, going into your next question, when I dress like that, do I feel different? Yes. The first thing I would say is when I dress like this and I go and talk to an elected official, they take me seriously. They see, that's why TeenPact has our students dress in this professional attire, because if Kevin Stitt walks into the room as a speaker, he is going to see everyone dressed in suits in professional attire with their notepads out, ready to take notes. We stress very highly, and you take notes, and we have step back wow factor. Basically what that is when the speaker is done speaking, it is professional to raise your hand for a question. And at one point, it's called the step back wow factor, because at one point when the class did that, the speaker actually stepped back and accidentally fell off the stage. So that's why it's the step back wow factor, because when that's the end of my presentation. Are there any questions? And everyone's hand goes up. It's wow, because people don't ask questions anymore. But with the notes and the way everyone dress, that speaker will take you seriously. If I walk into my legislator's office and I'm dressed in a sweatshirt and sweatpants, I look like I just rolled in out of bed, they're going to be like, why are you here? Why are you wasting my time? Like, you don't seem to fit the part, because they're there and they're dressed professionally because they're fitting the part. But if I come in dressed like this, especially at my age, then they're like, okay, hold on, something's different. Now it's time to lock in because this is an opportunity. And then when you act and you speak professionally and you're looking them in the eye, you shake their hand, you ask how they're doing, you introduce yourself, and you introduce yourself from their district or wherever you are from, that just tells them that you're being intentional. You are taking another step to be professional. And not only will that help them be professional, but they're feeling respected, and it's respect for everyone.
Round of applause.
Awesome.
That was awesome because I have always had this, I guess it's like a hypothesis. I have a hypothesis that when you dress for success, you feel successful. When you dress, when you want to be heard, you dress in a manner that people notice you. And that's not, I don't believe, I sadly, in my personal opinion, I just believe that that's part of the dumbing down of America, is that we're dumbing down our clothing too. I mean, we're going to go to the grocery in stretch pants. I mean, this is just my thing, but I love the fact that you look professional and you speak professionally. And I got to show this to you, Stephanie. This was a comment. Stephanie has that proud mama look. That's the best advertisement for the program. That's great.
Definitely. It's helped. I always joke when I'm pulling my hair out, we do homeschool. And so, but I always say TeenPact is helping me raise my kids, because it's in the homeschool world. And I always tell this to our parents that get involved in TeenPact. The beauty of homeschooling is you get to create the programs. There's so many wonderful things that exist in the homeschool world for students. It's mind blowing. Once I decided to give it a try and just step in and trust God, all these doors opened, and there's all these amazing programs like TeenPact that exist because they believe in America's youth. They believe in tomorrow's youth. And so, I wouldn't have found TeenPact if I hadn't homeschooled, just because, like you had said, how do people learn about this? But it really does help. It's here to help assist in the process, because that's why I serve with TeenPact, because it's not just my students, it's your students. It's all these students that I watch step into TeenPact. Some come to understand their relationship with God in a way they never have before. That's always beautiful. But then it's another step after that. It's the leadership aspect, and it's understanding how, and then the government piece, that is a self-development tool as well, because it's developing you as a person in your society. And my students, my kids always apply to be leaders. They don't get accepted every time immediately, but even the application process, it challenges them to get involved in their areas of influence, whether that's their youth group or that's their church or their co-op or their neighborhood or whatever that looks like, or the government. Where are you serving? And so it begins to cause them to think about themselves differently and how they play a part in society. And then they fill out the application. It's a self-assessment about their walk with the Lord, about where they're serving. It really, just filling out that application is changing their thinking. And then when they go through the interview process, they're not interviewing with an adult, they're interviewing with a teen staffer. And so that's who interviews them. And our CEO said it best at our national convention. He was talking to the parents that were at the national convention, and he said, it's positive peer pressure. I've never seen anything like this program where youth are leading youth, because I became a believer when I was in college, because I entered into a room of college kids talking about their relationship with God. I was not raised in the church. And so I have been to churches, but you go on a Sunday morning, you hear the preacher preach, nobody talks to you, you go home. Why would I ever want to be a Christian? I didn't understand that. But someone invited me to what they called a house church in a college campus. And it was my peers in a room. It wasn't adults telling me what I needed to do, but they were talking about their relationship with Jesus. And I had never heard anyone talk about their relationship with Jesus. I didn't even know you could talk to God and that God talked to you, and that I had no idea. And through that, I wanted to know God like they knew God. And then I ended up meeting Jesus that very night. And then I went through the discipleship program of learning how to lead the house church and disciple others. And I was raised up by my youth peers. And so TeenPact, for me, when there's so much power in youth leading youth, because as parents, we can talk to our kids all day about, character development and their walk with God and all these things we want to instill in them. But when you put them before other youth who are saying, follow me this way, it is such a powerful impact that I want my youth to be around other youth in this program, and the leaders, the youth leaders, I want them to have their influence, because I think that also is life-changing as well. So it is positive peer pressure coming from youth their age. You cannot find that anywhere else. And that's why it's changing lives and change the world. It's not just because, oh, this is a government class. It is so much more. But then it's also developing their character to understand that God has created them for a purpose. He's designed them to serve. He's designed them to give back to the community, to understand how the government works, to be a voice, to serve. Just so many aspects of developing them as a whole person and their identity in Christ and their walk with the Lord and all those things that go together. I always joke that TeenPact is helping me raise my kids for this reason. And I really just think everyone's kiddo should go through the program at least once, if not more than once or twice. But anything else that you wanted Gabe to share, or?
Any last words, Gabriel?
Nope, just thank you so much for having me, and I hope you all learned something.
No, we did.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're
Great.
an excellent spokesman for the program.
Thank you so much.
And I
Thank
have
you.
a 14-year-old who would like to just share a couple things if there's any.
Oh, sure. Sure. And while we're switching there, let me make a point that I think is important. So a lot of people, because we've become so adult focused and we've infantilized children in this society. And again, to me, it's a Marxist principle. You infantilize children because that's how you keep them from becoming adults and learning. And those people are very easily led. So the whole idea of youth teaching youth is really an outstanding thing. And if you ever participate in anything like a medical program, and Gabriel will probably find this out when he goes on to dental school, there is a philosophy that they have, which is see one, teach one, and do one. And the do one, notice that the do one comes after the teach one, right? So you see somebody do it, but it's in the aspect of teaching somebody else what you've just learned that you double learn it yourself, which makes it easier for you to do one. So it is extremely important for youth to be able to teach each other. That's how they learn themselves, is by teaching. So I think that's one of the aspects of the program that I've just learned about today that I would hold up as one of the most important reasons to have kids get involved in this and families get involved in this, because that alone provides a knowledge bank. Just the ability to teach somebody else provides a knowledge bank, and not just the knowledge bank, but the a sense of self, I guess, an ability to be able to speak on their own confidence. That's probably the term I'm looking for, is confidence. So I that just sounds so good to me. And so who is this?
I'm Isabel.
Hello, Isabel. How are you? I'm Jenny.
Good. Nice to meet you. How are you?
I am fine today. Now that I've been talking to you guys, I'm so excited. You have quite the family there. So Isabel, what do you like about, have you just started now?
I've been in TeenPact for 2 years, and this year will be my 3rd. A couple things I really like about TeenPact is the community and how everyone there is helping you, and they're so supportive, and I really like the community because everyone's so kind, and when you get there, you're my first year I was oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? I don't know anyone here. And then after the second day, everyone was coming up to me and wanting to be my friend, and it was everyone was so nice, and I really enjoyed it. So that's the first part about it. And then my second favorite thing about TeenPact is stepping out of my comfort zone. They always they always say like step out of your comfort zone, and like I am always like oh no, what am I supposed to do? And then I really stepped out of my comfort zone, and like public speaking, like I was really afraid to, like when we would be in our small groups, I was really afraid to pray in front of people, and so I'd like just kind of like freeze. And so like they really helped me like just like let go of that, and just like just be happy whenever, like you say, it doesn't matter, you're just talking to God, and he's always there for you. And then my third thing that I like about TeenPact is TeenPact legislative. I really like debating over bills, reading bills, and debating. Yeah, that's like my favorite part about it. Just, yeah.
Well, good for you. So are you
Yeah.
going to keep doing it then?
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you like the PCW class on Friday?
Yes, I love the PCW class. It's about like, did you tell me about it?
Yes, I mentioned it briefly.
Yeah, I love just like learning on like I just love like just learning how to like trade, and like it's mostly about trading and like speaking. And so I love like the trading, and like they make you like you have 10 minutes to trade and you can't talk. So you have to trade without talking. And
Now,
so
what
that's
is trading? Trading, what are you trading?
So trading, like if I am in what's the word? Campaign. Yeah, it's a campaign. So if I'm in a campaign and I need to sell, like if I need like this many like TV ads or this many like boards or anything. Yeah, it's like you're just like trading that with like all of these other people who need stuff. And so you have like 10 minutes to trade without talking, 10 minutes to trade when like it's it's really fun, and that really pushes me out of my comfort zone too.
That would push me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. So are they having fun alongside you as well?
The leaders have a lot of fun watching and just helping out. So yeah. Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you, Isabel, for sharing.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And you're in your Capitol attire as well.
Yes.
You look very beautiful, very professional.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Stephanie, I have this like godly jealousy that I'm struggling with right now. Your children are amazing.
Well,
and that's only 3 of them. You have 3 more, right?
I have 5 total. Yeah. My 21-year-old went through the program, and this guy, he's like TeenPact extraordinaire because he's been at every event since he was in the car seat. Finn, you want to introduce yourself real fast?
Hi, my name's Finn.
Hi, Finn. How are you?
Hello.
Good.
You also look very professional today.
Thanks.
Do you enjoy wearing a suit?
Yeah.
Awesome, because you look very nice.
Officially start this year, but he's been watching and coming and attending TeenPact everything for the last 8 years. Do you want to share what your favorite thing is about TeenPact and why you're excited to do it this year?
My favorite thing about TeenPact is probably, I don't know, not really. So.
Are you excited to do it this year?
Yeah.
To actually participate with the kids? He pretty much participates anyways, but he wanted to get dressed up and show you his TeenPact attire because
I think you're
TeenPact attire when he comes to support us at the Capitol.
Well, you're very handsome in that, I have to say, Finn. I give you 2 thumbs up.
So for those who are interested in registering their kids for TeenPact, registration for the 2026 year does open on September 1st. For the month of September, we have our early bird discount. So it's discounted the first month. So the registration will open up, and they can go to the teenpact.com website and they just search for their state. So you would search for Oklahoma.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to type in as you're talking.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so go to the TeenPact website
Huh?
and go to Oklahoma.
Or if you're Oklahoma, and if you're listening to this from another state, or you have grandkiddos in another state, you want to introduce your, other people to the program, you just find your state.
Okay.
And then you'll find out, you'll get to see the dates of the state class, and that's how you register. And it's discounted during the month of September, and that it will open up on September 1st for registration.
Okay, hold on, let me get this in there so that people can see it. Okay, now everybody on all of the channels can see it once it's on here. So I'm going to leave this up until we get off. Stephanie, you have been, thank you so much for coming on. I know how busy you are, but I am so excited by this program. And I think you and your children are probably the best examples for why to join the program of anything ever.
Students, for sure. It really seals the deal because it's really about them. I'd love to mention briefly too, just the national events that TeenPact offers once the student is an alum. And you can find this on the website, and it's under the alumni events. But the national convention I talked about, because that's the favorites. That's where the kids all go to Tennessee. And we actually, for the state of Oklahoma, we get a bus, and we partner with Arkansas, and we bus about how many 50, 60 students to the national convention. But that's the one where they have all of the elections in the evening and the vice president and presidential debates. And then it's a week of leadership experience. But there's also another event called Judicial, and it's where students go and they learn just how the law works. They get to practice. They work with actual law professors and law firms, and they get to practice the law process. That's Judicial. Congress students, this one is in, I think they're doing in Florida right now, but it's where it says that leave your student notebook behind and become the senator, representative, lobbyist, or reporter you have always wanted to be. Work towards your legislative goals, discuss issues, persuade legislators, host press conferences, and publish the latest TeenPact Network news. That's the Congress event. Then we have an event called Back to DC. Continue your leadership training in our nation's capital as you learn from influential leaders, study campaign theory, and participate in a mock presidential campaign. Explore landmarks, worship at the Lincoln Memorial, and make unforgettable memories with your TeenPact friends. So that's the Back to DC alumni event. The business event is brand new. They just designed that one. Learn the theory and practice of turning an idea of a business into reality. Join a team of students as you build your business from the ground up. Endeavor is for the ladies. A lot of the moms attend this with their daughters, so it's a girls, young daughter event where they connect as women, and it's more digging deeper into your relationship with the Lord. And then there's also one for boys called Venture. So these are just some of the alumni events that happen around different parts of the U.S. throughout the year that students attend to once they become an alum. And again, just to reiterate what becoming alum means, that means attending your local state class. And once you graduate from that class, then you become a TeenPact alum, and you are welcome to attend any of our national events as well.
Yeah, just one quick question. So the TeenPact classes are for junior high and high school students. What about college? Do you have a way for college students to take the class?
This is really just youth. I mean, it goes up to the age of 19. So a 19-year-old can still go through the program.
Okay.
So my kid still, Gabe's 18. I mean, he'll probably still go to national convention or attend. He still may attend another event. So, which is great because, he's not doing the leadership track. But he can still be involved in the TeenPact events to further his, understanding of business or campaigning, or if he wanted to look into law, he could go to the Judicial event. So it's 13 to 19, but it really is focusing on America's youth. And some of these students are college students. I mean, they'll still participate because 18-year-olds are in college. My son is starting his college courses. So up to 19, you do have college, but it does cap out at the age 19.
Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for being with us and
You're so
for
welcome.
your students. And I am hoping that we'll be able to work out you having a table and coming to speak at the conference, the Liberty Oklahoma conference as well, because I think we just need to introduce as many people as we possibly can to this program. I think just seeing your students and how they were able to interact with Michael and I today, I think it's, like I said, the best selling point ever.
Yeah.
That's great. And I would love to come talk to any of your school co-ops. There have been some, there's the school programs that are part-time homeschool, part-time school, I forget the name of what we call those. But
hybrid usually
hybrid
program.
schools.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, we have people in Tulsa that are part of TeenPact. So there's even people in Tulsa I can send to come and speak. And really just 5 to 10 minutes is all we need to come and talk to your parents or your students about the TeenPact program. But we really want partners with our co-ops and our hybrid schools to partner with TeenPact. It really is building tomorrow's future. So it's very
I'd love to see more public students, public school
absolutely.
students get involved as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Stephanie, thank you again. And Finn, so nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Me too.
You have a blessed day. Stephanie,
Okay,
you have a
thank
blessed
you so
day
much,
as well.
Joel.
And
appreciate
thank
it.
you
It's
so
been
much for
much
being
fun.
with us. And we'll stay in touch.
Okay, bye, you
All right,
all.
talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye. Oh my goodness, that was probably the most fun I've had in a long time.
Well, that's just makes you feel good that there's classes available like that for young people to just
and listening
mature
to
them in a way
Stephanie's,
that they need to be. I mean, it's unbelievable.
and looking at Stephanie's, I'm so glad she put them on because they are just absolutely it gives me hope. I mean, I think Stephanie Savage has given me hope that I hadn't had in several decades now. So, I mean, that's just amazing. I'm so glad. I really have, unfortunately, I've got to get off of here. I've got to go to a luncheon and then I'm getting out of town tomorrow afternoon. I'll be gone, as you know. So Katie, you'll be sitting in for me with you. But I'd sure like to get this up on the website just ASAP so people know how to get, especially since it's September 1 is the time for them to start enrolling. And I want to get this out here, ASAP. So those of you who are on today, thank you so much for being on with us. Thank you for your comments. They were great. But please, 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 especially once we get off, share this video. Hey, did you know this was going on? Let your, say that to your neighbors, your family, your friends. Hey, did you know about this program? Check this out, because I think more people need to know about it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So
Definitely.
All right. You going to have a great weekend, Michael?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to, certainly. I get to go see my sister. So I'm planning on it. So, all right, everybody have a wonderful weekend and we will see you. I won't, but you guys will be back on Wednesday with Katie Smith from B1SUT. And then you guys have a show also on Friday at 9 a.m. So stay tuned for those. And then I'll see you back after Labor Day. So have a great day. Have a blessed day and check out TeenPact. Talk to you soon.